So, am I present enough when I'm home? These days I'm home a lot. Uh, Last October, I decided to take paternity leave for the first time, and and it's the only time I've ever taken it. It's with my third baby, who's asleep right now, and yeah, I think it's the best thing that's happened to me. Because if you're working and you also have a baby at home, you know how hard it is to be present, right? Like work for me, it it leaked into my life. I couldn't avoid it. And there were times when I'd be home at night in the same room with my kids, and I just wasn't present. I would be on my phone or just checking emails, and physically I was there, but mentally I was somewhere else. And it sucks to look back on because I didn't have a lot of time as it was, right? I was working 9 to 5. They were asleep by 8 o'clock, so you maybe have an hour in the morning with them, and then 3 hours later. So yeah, it just I tried to be everywhere, and I wasn't anywhere at all. At work I would think about my kids. I'd feel that guilt, and then when I was home, I was thinking about work, right? So yeah, people always say you have to compartment- you have to compartmentalize, and I just didn't do a good job of that. And there was this one time when I was in the room with my son, and I was on my phone, and my wife just got so fed up with me that she said, "Brian, get off your phone. Just be present with your son," right? And and that hit me hard. And the next morning, we're having breakfast, and my son goes, "Daddy, why are you always on your phone?" Right? And yeah, that wasn't good to hear at all. That wasn't good to hear. And I've always struggled with it. And I think if you're watching this, maybe you resonate on some level with that. But now I'm at home, and now I do not work. I spend a lot of time with my youngest daughter, who's just over 1, and we went to the park this morning, and I pushed her on the swing, and I was very present. I maybe not 100% present, but I was very present, and I got to witness her just laugh and giggle and kick her legs on the swing. She used to be afraid of the swing, but these days she loves it. And as she came towards me on the swing, I would grab her hand and tickle her, and yeah, she just loved it. And at some point, I am going to go back to work in September, and I'm not going to be as present as I am now. And at some point, maybe you're going to have to go back to work and where you're working right now, and it's hard to be there mentally when you're stressed with work or stressed with responsibility or what have you, right? But over the years, I've learned that it doesn't. You don't need a lot of time to make it worthwhile, but you need to be present with the time that you have. Because prior to me taking paternity leave, I tried to make the best of every situation. In the mornings when my kids were brushing their teeth, maybe I would actually talk to them, make jokes with them, do a bit of a sing along or a silly dance while they're brushing their teeth. When I'm driving or dropping off my daughter at daycare, I sing with her or interact with her and not just be focused on work. And in the evenings, maybe I would, shower with them or read a book with them and, leave my phone outside the room, right? Really talk to them, right? Ask them about their day and not just go through the motions of putting them to sleep and giving them a bath and brushing their teeth, right? That's not quality time, right? That's just checking off a to-do list, as my wife says. And so I try to find pockets of time, if I were you, just to, whether that's waking up an hour early, having a dedicated couple hours in the evening of just no phone, just being there with them, right? Just being there. I think in today's society, it's hard to be fully present all the time, but you make use of the time you have, right? And that's all we can do, right? I find myself, picking up and dropping off and driving a lot these days, just moving my kids from place to place. And sometimes the only time I have is with them in the car. And, maybe in the past I would put on a podcast, but these days I just talk to them, ask them how their day went. Did they like the lunch I made them? What's going on with their friends. Just trying to build a connection, right? The connection doesn't need hours and hours, but it definitely needs. They need to see that you actually are interested about them, right? And that's all we can do, right? Be present with the time that we do have, however limited it may be. So I hope this helped.